Welcome to my next declutter video. This is going to be face primers, facial mists, concealer, and foundation depending on how long this is. So it may just be a couple of those. Hopefully I can fit it all into one video and not make it 10 years long. That's what I'm going for. So it'll be all base products. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, the ones I know I'm keeping for sure. I'm keeping this stack of e.l.f. Putty Primers. I love these. I have the original Poreless Putty. This is actually the second one I've had of these. I don't normally repurchase products, but I bought a new one. And I really, really like these. I think this is like the only primer I have that actually fills in my pores. The e.l.f. Putty. I have the Cookies and Dreams. This I could have done without. I was expecting this to smell better. It works just like the other one. It doesn't smell so much like cookies as it does maybe like a weird vanilla-y scent, but it works the same. So I have both now. I need to use them both. And I also have the matte Putty Primer, which I don't feel is any more mattifying, but I actually have pan in that one, so I want to finish that one up. But I'm definitely keeping, if you want a pore filling primer, the e.l.f. ones are the way to go. Keeping all three of those. Another e.l.f. one I'm going to keep for now is this Blurring Primer Serum. I'm trying to finish this up. I don't know, it's hard to get out of the container now, and I'm not really sure it's doing anything for me anymore, but I am going to keep this for now and try to finish it because it is almost gone. So we're going to try to finish this up and be done with it. The Tatcha I am keeping. This is almost brand new. I've only used this 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know that it does a ton for me, but I need to use this, I think, like a week straight to see. Keeping the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas for sure. Still testing that out. Here's the MAC Strobe Cream. I know it's like a highlighter, but I've used it before as a primer and it worked for that too. So I don't know. This is another one that I've only used a couple of times because it is so shiny. So I might try this as a highlighter, but I'm going to keep this. It came in a little travel kit. So keeping that. It's kind of like the Tatcha one. You can see how tiny it is, like with that. They're just little travel things that I wouldn't have necessarily bought this since I have it. I'm going to see if I can come up with a way that I like it. All right. One I'm getting rid of is my Rimmel Stay Matte. This is probably the 3rd or 4th one of these I've owned. I used to wear this all the time. This was my favorite primer. I loved it. It was like $4 at the drugstore. I think it still is. It's just this clear primer. I used to love this, but this is just not, you know, I have other things now like this one, like the Laura Geller mattifying. So I'm going to get rid of the Rimmel. Now, one that I pulled out to keep, these are very old, the Laura Geller Spackle Primers. I have several different kinds. You can see them all laying here. I love these primers. I think these primers do something. I think they really keep my makeup on. They really like fill in my pores without being pore filling. I don't know. I love the Laura Geller primers. And these have all been working fine. Like I said, they're all in, if you look on the website now, they're all in brand new packaging. These are older products, but, and it even says on the back though, they're supposed to last like, this one says 36 months. So that's a long time. But these are the same product, and these aren't the same color anymore. This is one I've had in my backups. I went through my backup bin the other day, and I had a brand new one of these. I've used more than half of this product up. So I'm going to throw this one out, and I'm going to try my new one, make sure this is still good. It looks fine. Like this looks like it did when I got it, so I'm not worried about it. But I am going to get rid of the old one. So keeping this, tossing this. And on the Laura Geller subject, I'm also going to keep my mattifying one, my Fortified Under Makeup Primer, and my Moisturizing Under Makeup Primer. Like I said, they're all older. If they start acting funny, breaking me out, smelling weird, I will throw them out. Just like that other one, it was starting to feel a little off. But these all work great, smell fine, all the things. So I'm keeping the hydrating. I'm keeping the mattifying, which is this one. And this is actually my favorite. This is the second tube of this I've had. I've used up the first one entirely. I love this primer. This is one of those like all-in-one. It does everything I want a primer to do. it is my favorite. I don't know if they sell this anymore, if it's called something different, but yeah, the Laura Geller primers are my favorite primers that I feel like they actually do something for my makeup rather than just feel nice on the skin before I start. Both of these Milani ones are going to stay. These are both brand new. The Milani Avocado and the Milani Peach. This says it's redness reducing. I don't know about all that. It was nice on the skin. And this is the Glass Skin Primer, and that is no joke. This is so glowy. It's absolutely stunning though. So keeping both of these Milanis. This Hard Candy H2O Primer Serum, I am getting rid of this. It smells a little bit like Vicks or Noxzema, that kind of smell, like very medicinal. And when I first bought it, I was very excited, and I put it on underneath my eyes where I would think I want a hydrating stick like this, like a cooling stick. And it felt really cooling, and then it dried. And the smell did not go away, and it kind of wafted up into my eyes for a good almost hour after I put it on. So I've not even tried this as like a T-zone primer or anything like that. It says helps to control oil and reduce inflammation. Yeah, it burnt my eyes in the one time I used it, so I'm getting rid of this. No, I didn't even really try it. No, I really don't want to. This is also a new purchase, but I am keeping this one, the Cover FX Water Cloud Primer. Again, no real thoughts on this one. I've had it for a very short amount of time. I've used this probably 3 or 4 times, and it's good, but I don't really have strong feelings about it yet, so keeping that one. My Becca one, we're going to go ahead and keep. I know it looks gross when it's like, it looks all separated, but the Backlight Priming Filter, I'll keep this one until it's not good anymore, then I'll toss it, so. Can't get it anymore. It looks pretty. It's not my favorite. It has a very perfumey scent, and I don't love that, but I'm keeping, I think, all of my Becca products right now. I just can't bear to part with them at the moment, so I'm keeping that. This Nars Tinted Glow Booster, I'm keeping. This can be like a mix-in for your foundation or worn as a primer. The description makes me think of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. The way they describe this product, that it can kind of be used however you want, and it's kind of glowy, but you know. So I'm going to keep this and kind of try it out like that. This NYX HD Studio Photogenic, I'm going to get rid of. This actually smells funny. It smells just kind of plasticky, almost like, I don't even know, like clay? Yeah, it just doesn't smell good. And the couple times I wore it, I don't think it did much, so I'm getting rid of this one. Both of my e.l.f. the Dew Primer and the Mint Melt, I'm definitely keeping. These do, I think, keep your makeup on. They're both like that. They smell different. This smells like watermelon. This smells like vanilla mint, but they both have that tacky feel. I like it. I think that they work. They're nice. And they're both like a dewy primer, but I love using these in the summertime. Like that's when I want to reach for this kind of product. My Bite Changemaker, I'm keeping. This is very new to me, so I'm keeping that one. And it says it's for normal to oily skin, which will be good for the summer. We'll see how that really works out, if it controls the oil. I guess we'll move on to the last e.l.f. one in the pile, the Moisture Lock Primer. I'm going to get rid of this one. I feel like this, the product is like the packaging. Very bland. It's nice. It's kind of a thicker primer, almost like a moisturizer feel. I don't know. It doesn't do anything special for me, so I kind of overlook it. You know, it doesn't give you glow. It doesn't give you mattification. It doesn't fill the pores. It's just kind of there. So I think this is going to go. I'm going to put this in my maybe pile. I just swatched it like on my hand, and it really is like very smooth feeling, but it is kind of thick. So we'll put this over here in the maybe area. We'll decide on that in a minute. Now these three here at the bottom, both this CoverGirl Pore Minimizing I'm keeping. I really like this. It probably is about half gone. Probably more than that actually if it was sitting on its top. It's not heavy. I'm keeping this one. I think this actually does some pore minimizing, so I'm keeping that. Now this one I was going to get rid of, but I have been really, really oily the last couple weeks, and I cannot seem to control the oil in my T-zone right now, and I don't know what's going on. And I think I might keep this. I don't have a lot of other mattifying primers besides the Laura Geller. Like the rest of these are pore filling or dewy. I think I'm going to keep this one for now and try this one again because I really am having a problem with my mattifying my face. So I'm going to keep this one for now and try this one out again. So with that being said, I'm also going to keep this one for now, the Prime Plus Mattifying and Pore Reducing. The texture of this one actually reminds me of this one, where it's kind of like thicker texture. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. I do need that mattification right now, like I said, so I'm going to try these again. I've not needed that lately. Like in the past year or two, I've not had really oily skin, but it's creeping back on me, so I'm going to try these again. Okay, these are both like mattifying sunscreens. That's what this one is. And this is a Prime and Protect with SPF 30. This does say expires 5/22, which is next month. So I think I'm going to keep both of these. Again, summer's coming around, and a lot of these dewy primers, the glowy primers, I don't reach for in the summertime. So I think I'm going to give these one more month, a couple more months, whatever, because they both have the sunscreen, and then I'll probably toss them after that. So we'll keep those for now. I've actually been using this one quite a bit if I know I'm going to be out and about, just because, you know, it has the extra sunscreen in it. I do wear sunscreen every day, but just to be on the safe side. All right, down to these three. Now, the No Pore Blend Primer. I always want to keep this. I don't want to get rid of it. But I don't think that this works. I don't think it fills my pores in. And I would rather use one of my putty primers than this. So I think for that reason, this is going to go. I don't know why I want this to work so badly. Do you ever have a product like that? You're like, I just want this to do what everybody says it does. And, you know, I've heard such good things. I want this to work, and it just doesn't. So I think I'm finally going to part with the No Pore Blend, because if I'm reaching for a pore filling primer, this is not the one I'm reaching for. So this is going to go. All right, we're down to these two. Honestly, I think I'm going to get rid of the Moisture Lock. Looking at my other things, I'm not going to reach for this for any purpose over any of those. So this one's going to go. And the Revlon Photo Ready. This actually does fill your pores, but I don't know that it makes my makeup last any longer. But I really only have, like, looking at the side of this, it is honestly like down to here. Like, this is so low in here. I think I'm going to keep this. Yeah, you can see right there. It is like down at the bottom here. So I think I'm going to keep this and try to finish it up. It does fill the pores, which is what I want. Not necessarily like a long lasting primer for me, but yeah, I'm going to try to finish this. I really feel like I can in the next couple of weeks. And this is actually a good one to pair with other things. You know, you can prime the rest of the face and then just put this in the T-zone and be good. So keeping this one. So for primer, we're only getting rid of 6. A variety of things here. And most of these are either expired, which I think this is too, this kind of smells, expired, or just things that don't really do much. And, you know, I'm learning that as I'm using my primers, that there are ones that actually do priming for me, you know, mattifying, pore reducing, makeup lengthening. But these just kind of are meh. I don't need these. So 6 of these are going to go. Let's move on now to facial mists. Here are all of my face sprays. Now, I'm not getting rid of hardly any of these, simply because most of these are almost brand new. Like this whole row plus this Tatcha are new within the last like 2 months. I have a problem. I am addressing it. These were all at TJ Maxx, all the different scents, and I love the Milani Make It Last. I love the scented ones. So I do have all of these. This came in that set. These two I got for like $1 at Walmart. I was curious to try them because they say facial oil mist, but they don't look oily. Like they just look like water. And I was curious to try those. I didn't think I'd figure I was out much for $1 a piece. And then the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. Honestly, I probably could have done without this, but now I own it. So I've been enjoying the Cover FX products so much that I really wanted to try this. So it's definitely illuminating, but very nice. So all of this row is staying because these are basically brand new. The MAC Fix Plus Pink Light also staying. It makes me think of this one. they're very, very similar. So I better be having a dewy face here in the next couple weeks. So those are staying. The Anastasia Dewy Set is actually down here. Again, this is that fruit scent. I really like a fruit scented or something like that. That nice experience when you're using it. Both of the Prime and Fine from Catrice, these are both staying. This one's actually like half gone. So I go crazy when I use my facial mist. Like I put on like 10 mists. So I feel like I could actually use some of these up in the near future. This is almost gone. I have like a speck left in the bottom of this. I could get rid of this one. It's fine. Like I don't love it. I don't hate it. But I want to finish this up. This is not what's in here. This is actually a Flower Beauty setting spray. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I've had this for a very long time and it works. Like it sets your makeup. But the smell of this is really, really strong. And the bottle it came in was terrible. That's why it's in this one. It had a terrible mister on it. I've had this sitting in my drawer and I went ahead and bought all these anyway. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm obviously not needing to use that. I don't love it. If you watched my video of backups, or if I've posted that yet, I'm not sure. I have 2 more of these in my drawer. Yeah, I'll just try to finish that one up. It is a nice, like, refreshing one. I don't love the smell. It smells like plastic watermelons, but yeah. I am going to keep all of these, and then I'm not going to buy any more ever again. So I'm keeping all of these. I'm just getting rid of one. Nothing exciting here. A Flower Beauty one's going, but that's it for facial spray. We're going to move on now to, I think I'm going to do concealer first. I think that will be easier, and there aren't as many concealers as there are foundations. So we're going to move on to concealer next. Here are the concealers we're working with. Compared to a lot of my other makeup, I don't have a ton of concealers. Just an observation. Now, I know there are a lot I'm keeping, but I also know there are some that I'm definitely getting rid of for formula or for color. So let's start with these 2 at the top though. These are 2 I'm trying to pan right now, and look how close I'm getting. Like you can see all the way through that. Oh, so exciting. And then this one has that little tiny speck left in the bottom. So these 2 are definitely staying. I want to finish these up and they will be out of this collection before too long. So keeping those for sure. I'm going to get rid of this. This is actually like a color corrector, a color correcting serum, but I've had this for a long time. I've used it. It feels pretty light, so it might be almost gone, but I just don't use color corrector. This is so lightweight. It really doesn't color correct a lot. Like it just kind of blends in. So this one's going to go. All right. Here we go. The Revlon Color Stay in the shade Sand. I'm keeping this. This is an older product, but this is a really good color match for me. I love the shade of this. It's kind of like that neutrally grayish kind of tone. So same reason I'm going to keep the Flower Beauty Light Illusion in L12. Same kind of thing. It's a very neutral tone. So I'm keeping that one. Both of those are staying. I'm also going to keep this Better Skin. Again, this is just kind of that neutral, very lightweight concealer. Nothing too heavy, nothing too full coverage. So I like that one for those kind of days. I think I'm actually going to get rid of my Fit Me ones. I've had these for a while. They look a little rough. But I will probably reach for the other ones. Neither of them is like a perfect shade match. I have repurchased these probably 4 or 5 times. I've just found other things now, so these 2 I think are going to go. All right, these Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealers. I'm keeping them. I don't love them, but I'm keeping them. I expected them to be more... It says caffeine concealer and foundation. I expected them to be more like those Too Faced ones. That's supposed to be like the foundation concealer, that giant bottle. That's kind of what I was hoping these would be like. They're okay. They're not super full coverage. They have a kind of weird smell. I don't know. They're not my favorite thing, but I am going to keep them both. They work okay. I do like to mix those with my foundation. If I already have it on and it's like too dark, I like to put in shade 110 into a dark foundation. Just kind of dab that on the face. I am going to get rid of this Zoeva concealer. I have no idea how the formula is on this. This is the Authentic Skin Perfector in the shade 130 for real. So I got it thinking 130 should be appropriate, and it is very dark on me. So that's gonna go. Like I could make this work. I have enough that work on their own. I'm just gonna get rid of this one. These Revolution ones, the Conceal and Hydrate. I hadn't used these in a while until my husband picked one out for me. And I actually really liked it. I was like, oh, why am I not using this all the time? Has the nice giant doe foot that they all have, both colors. I have C5 and C6. They're really different shades, but they both work nicely. So I'm keeping both of those actually. I don't love a lot of stuff from Makeup Revolution, but those were actually good. All right, the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Serum Concealer, excuse me. This is Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. I don't know about all that, but I do like this with a lighter foundation, like kind of a tinted hydrating foundation. I do like this for that. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the Urban Decay All Nighter. I am going to keep both of these. I have to wear them together. One of them is way too light, and the other one is way too dark, and they're in light neutral and fair warm. I would not pair these with a light coverage foundation, so that's why I like to have a variety. I would pair this with a light coverage. These are for that full coverage matte foundation kind of day. So I'm keeping those. This little Becca one here, I'm getting rid of this one. It is the Ultimate Coverage Longwear Concealer, and the shade is too light for me. It is the shade Cream. And not only is that the case, but this is like the stringiest, tacky concealer. There is something, this is so thick to use and blend out. I am not a fan. And I've tried to make it work with some of my darker concealers. I just don't like this, so I'm gonna get rid of it. The Milk Makeup Concealers. These are not my favorite. I have the shade Light and the shade Vanilla. The shade Light is a little bit older. I just opened the vanilla one recently. I am actually going to get rid of the shade Light, and I'm going to keep the vanilla one. After swatching them, the shade Light is a lot more yellow. So I'm going to keep the vanilla and get rid of this one, which is shocking. I always keep the Milk Makeup ones. I don't know why. They're not my favorite, but I always try to use them, and that's going to go. Someone is outside mowing, but we're going to keep moving. If I have to voice over this part, I will. So I just want to finish up the concealers here, and then we'll take a break. Okay, for my Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealers, I have the shade 1W and 1C. I do like these mixed together, which is the case with a lot of these concealers. So I am keeping both of those. Along with my Hello Fab First Aid Beauty, the Bendy Avocado Concealer in the shade 1 and 2. I am keeping both of those. They're nice. Again, that lightweight, kind of like that serum concealer. That's what these are. So I'm keeping those. The Milani Conceal and Perfect, I'm actually getting rid of. The shade Light Beige is the same color as that Zoeva one. It's way too dark. And this is also the shade 130. That's kind of funny. Like, I could mix it, match it, but I'm not going to do that. So this one's going to go. I am keeping both of my CoverGirl True Blend. I need to probably use these up. These are getting a little older. This is M150 and L900. They both work. They're both nice. Keeping both. I don't have to wear these together though. They both work separately. Unlike everything else here. The Infallible Full Wear I have in the shade 350 Bisque. This is like a hair too dark. I can wear this on its own, but it's not a brightening concealer. You know, it's more like a skin tone match. So I'm keeping that one again. This is probably as old as those CoverGirl ones, and I need to be using some of these up. The CoverGirl, this is not CoverGirl, the Maybelline Insta Age Rewind in the light shade. I'm going to keep this one. I go back and forth with these. I have the brightener shade in my project pan that's almost gone. I think I have one of these in my purse. But for an everyday concealer, it's just not my favorite thing anymore. But I kind of go back and forth. I'll see somebody use it and it looks amazing, so I want to pull it back out. So I am going to keep this for now, but we'll see how often we're using this one. I'm going to keep my Pixi Corrector. This is a peachy corrector, and it's the only one I'm going to keep. It's nice to have on days if you have a really bad blemish or under the eyes are just absolutely ridiculous. So we'll keep that one. Now, these are my favorite concealers, the Candid and the Cover FX. For the Cover FX, I am actually keeping these three, and I'm getting rid of this one. I have the shades N Fair 2, P Light 2, and P Medium 1. These all work. P Medium 1 was the first one I bought, and it's wonderful. Like, this is great. It's not too light. It's great under the eyes. So then I got N medium 2. Oh, this is P medium 1, N medium 2. I thought, oh, I have a medium. That'll be good. I mean, you can see the difference here, even between the medium one. Like, it is a lot darker. And it's just too dark. Again, that same kind of thing. It's about the same color as all those other ones. I would have to absolutely mix this with something. And I have backups of these other ones, so I'm just going to keep the 3 that I can wear together or on their own, depending on the look. You know, I can wear the fair one by itself if I want a brightened under eye. Otherwise, I can use one of those. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And my Revlon Candid 022 is my favorite in the shade Sand. Very good shade match for me. Keeping that. 025 Creme Brulee. This is actually the shade I wear in the foundation, but this looks darker than the foundation. And then 015, this is the newest one. And this is one I never bought. It's in the shade Light because it always looked yellowy. But I'm going to keep that. This is a much lighter shade. And the one in Creme Brulee is not quite as dark as these other ones. Okay, here's the Cover FX one. I don't know if you can tell. The Cover FX. And then the Creme Brulee like really does blend into my skin. So I think I'm going to keep this one. It is a little deep, but not so much that I can't actually use it. I might put that in with my foundations. I feel like that could be a good, you know, if I want to go under the eye and actually conceal and then brighten up a bit, I feel like this would be a good one for that because it's not too dark. It really did just, it's between these two. It blended right into my skin. So I'm keeping that one. So for concealer, I am getting rid of more than I thought. Wow, this is, I'm surprised. I was not expecting to get rid of this many things, but like I said, sometimes I get in the zone and I'm like, yep, it can go. So here we go. 8 of my concealers are going. These are all too dark. This is, I don't know what this is. And these are all just kind of, I'm over it. You know, they're meh, they're old, whatever. So these are the concealers that we're saying goodbye to. And next up will be powder. I'm saving the foundation for last because there are more of those than anything else. So we're going to do some powder and see where we land. Okay, so I have a lot more powder than I thought. This is a little bit crazy. So let's just get into it, I guess. Here we go. First, what do I want to start with? Okay, first up, we're going to start with this Stay Matte powder. I'm actually going to keep this one. This is a new one. I had mentioned previously just that my T-zone has been absolutely shine city. So I'm going to keep this one and we're going to keep this kind of on the top for the weather getting warmer. Definitely keeping that. Okay, we have some Laura Geller stuff here on the top and I'm going to keep most of those. Actually, I have quite a few here on the top. I go back and forth with the Laura Geller powder. It is a powder foundation and you like swirl your brush in and you buff it on. And this is the shade Fair, which works for me. I have the glowy powder in the porcelain shade, and I have another porcelain matte one around here somewhere. I have the porcelain matte powder as well, and then I have light and medium. I'm going to keep the porcelain, both porcelain ones, and the fair one. I'm keeping both of those for sure. Now I have the light shade, which theoretically should work fine for me, but it's very, very orange. I don't know if you can tell. And then I have the medium. I think I'm going to keep both of these because I do kind of mix and match. The medium actually matches me pretty well. They're not something I'm going to go repurchase, but since I have all of these and I have different shades, I think I'm going to keep them and see if I end up using them this summer a little more. I do like them better in the summertime. You know, a powder foundation tends to be a little bit lighter on the face than, you know, a liquid. So I am going to keep all of my Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten powders right now. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of any of those because like I said, I do mix all the shades depending on when I'm wearing it. So I'm keeping all of those. I'm going to keep my L'Oreal Infallible that I'm trying to pan. This is in True Beige. So we're panning that. We're keeping that for sure. Zoeva. I have 3 Zoeva powders here on top. Okay, I have the shade Outstanding, the shade Dazzling, and the shade Remarkable. You can see through the side there. They're all different shades. Dazzling I wear under my eyes. I love this for that. It is very, very light. Keeping that for sure. The shade Remarkable, I don't know if you can tell, is quite a bit darker. And then here is, what was the other one? Outstanding. So you can see the difference. The color of the powder. But I really, really, really like this Zoeva powder. So I think I'm going to keep all 3 shades. The Remarkable one is a little deep for me, but again, we're moving into summer. I don't get like really, really tan. I'm not expecting to need a million foundation shades, but something like this, maybe if my chest is really tan, something like this to kind of even out my skin and make it all match a little bit better without going in with a bronzer. So I'm going to keep all these for now because I really do like the formula of this powder. What I think we can get rid of is this Elizabeth Arden Pure Finish Mineral Powder Foundation. It's one that you like grate yourself. You do this and it comes out. This is okay. I don't have a lot of strong feelings about this, so I think for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. It's kind of bulky, and I don't really wear it as a powder foundation, but I don't love it as a setting powder. You know, it's just kind of meh. So that one's going to go. All right, I have my Cover FX mattifying powder in light. I'm keeping that. I have this natural beige color correcting powder. This actually kind of looks like my Laura Geller powders, so I think I'm going to get rid of this. It has, if I remember correctly, it has almost a sheen to it. So when I put it under my eyes, it just kind of looked weird. Like it kind of emphasized the creases. That's what I thought it would be for, was under the eyes, and did not work for that. So this is going to go. My Tatcha powder I'm going to keep. I have mixed feelings about it. I think it removed the coverage from my foundation the other day, but I'm going to continue to try it a little bit. I've only used it probably 2 or 3 times, so keeping that to try. I'm keeping my 05 Fit Me powder, of course. That's also in my project pan. Keeping my Fit Me powder in 10. This is that same kind of thing where, like with the Zoeva, it's just a touch darker. The 05 is a little light for all over the face for me. So we'll keep both. Good drugstore powder. Favorite from the drugstore. Okay, my Nars translucent crystal powder. It's this white, very, very translucent, very, very powdery powder. This hard candy one is exactly the same. And I think I'm going to keep both because I actually really like this. And this is like half gone. I haven't used it that much, I don't feel like. And this is full. So I'm going to keep this one as a replacement for this because I'm not going to repurchase this. I will use it. I will use it up. And so I'll probably pull this one in. So I'm keeping both of those. I'm going to keep my e.l.f. Halo Glow, really pretty under eye powder. My L'Oreal Age Perfect is new. I'm going to keep that. I have another shade of the Infallible Fresh Wear. I'm going to keep this one, 20 Ivory, which is actually more orangey than the other one, but it works. Like I can wear this fine. It works okay, so I'm going to keep that one. My favorite powder as of right now, the CoverGirl Clean Fresh. Absolutely loving this. Absolutely keeping it. The Bite Beauty in Medium 2, again, is one that's a little bit too dark. It kind of reminds me of this Super Stay one. Let me see. It's definitely darker than the Super Stay. I'm keeping both of the Super Stay ones. I'm going to keep my Flower Beauty Light Illusion. Keeping my Aquassurance Powder Foundation. I love some powder, I'll tell you what. Oh, geez, Louise. Let's see. My Burt's Bees Mattifying Powder is new. I'm keeping that. My Bite Beauty, that's not the right one. My Bite Beauty in 1, light 1 I'm keeping. So both of these are staying. Powders just aren't that exciting. I'm trying to move through this one. Either they work or they don't. I don't know. So many of these are reflective though. My Triple Action Lift and Illuminate in 01. Keeping that. Now, everybody else loves these for under the eyes. I'm not going to hold that in front of this light. I don't love it. For under the eyes, it tends to take away the coverage, but over the rest of the face, it really blurs the pores in the center of the face. So I'm keeping that one. My e.l.f. Sheer Tint Finishing Powder, I'm keeping this. This Peach Blur Powder, I think I'm going to get rid of. I used it a couple videos ago, and I set my under eye with it, and I'm like, I just don't think this does anything. It's cute. It's adorable. I don't want to get rid of it because it's so cute. And it still kind of smells like peaches, but yeah, I think that this can go. I'm never going to actually use this again. So for being realistic about what I'm going to put on my face, that's not it. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus Powder, I'm going to keep this. It works well enough. It's not a favorite thing for me ever, but it is a really nice, like one of those just standard basic powders where I'm like, yeah, that works. It's good. Here's the Lift and Illuminate Triple Action in light medium. Again, this is a little dark for me. I think I'm going to sort out the darker powders here in a second, and I'll make a decision on those later. But again, too dark for me. Same with the Bite. So I'm going to set these off to the side. I think I've kept too many that are a little too dark. So I'm going to go through those separately in a second. Okay, we're getting close here. The pH Matchmaker from Physicians Formula. I'm actually going to get rid of this. This is a little dark, and it's a little dark always. It's a lot of coverage, and I don't know. This is just not my favorite powder. So this is going to go. The L'Oreal True Match is going to stay. I like that one. NYX Stay Matte Not Flat, keeping this. Bare Minerals Bare Pro powder, again, a little dark, keeping this. Okay, the Too Faced I'm going to keep in the shade Snow. That's newer to me. Both Bare Minerals things I'm going to go ahead and keep. I've not even worn this as a regular foundation in Fairly Light. So I think I might just have to do like a week of powder foundations or something. That could be fun. Maybe I'll do that. Because I have that, the Aquasurance, the Laura Geller. I'm sure there are more in that box, so I think I might do that. Anyway, both of these are good powders. These are totally fine. There's nothing wrong with these, but I don't reach for them over anything else ever. So I think I'm going to get rid of these. I've held on to them for a while. They're really good shade matches for me. I just don't use them. So I think these are going to go. Well, now that I say that, I'm looking at them like they are good shade matches. I might end up keeping one of these, a couple of these in lieu of those darker ones. So I'm going to set these off to the side with the dark ones. Okay. The CoverGirl Clean Matte. I just bought this for my old school makeup. Keeping this. Keeping this. This is a mattifying powder over here. The same as this. And I don't wear powders like this very often. It's not an everyday thing. It's a seasonal thing. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep those rather than going out and buying new later. This Clarins powder. It's cute. It's pretty. It works fine. So I'm going to keep that. This Better Skin powder. I think I'm going to go ahead and pass this on. I've kept this for a long time and I carried it in my purse because this mirror is fantastic. But I think that it's time. I've had this for a while and I don't know. I just don't feel the need to have it anymore. So I think this is going to go. And this, I've mixed together like 3 or 4 different powders in here. The Mineral Veil is in here. I don't know. There's a lot of powders in this. A pure powder. So I might keep this one. I think I'm going to keep these 2. Yeah. That one's going to go. Okay. I'm going to look through my dark powders because I wanted to keep a couple for summertime, but I think I ended up keeping like 10. So I'm going to go through those real quick and then I will come back and let you know what's up. Okay, here are all the ones that were a little too dark for me. I'm actually going to keep all of them. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I swatched them all out and most of them lightly applied over makeup are going to be about perfect if I have, you know, a lighter foundation on. And the 2 that were the darkest were these 2. And I actually put these over where my bronzer goes and it like seamlessly blended it in. I actually put these on my face right now and it just looked really nice in that fashion. So I do think I'm going to keep them for that purpose. I'm not going to buy any powders in the near future here because I have so many right now. But like I said before, I'm not decluttering to get rid of all of my things. I'm getting rid of things I don't want to use and I don't like anymore. And I still like these. I still want to use them, so I'm going to keep them. Powder was not as successful as some of the other things. We're only getting rid of 5. But these are things that I don't feel like I'm going to miss. I don't think I'm going to be, you know, looking for these in my collection. This one maybe. It's just so cute. I really like the packaging and stuff of this. But the powder itself is just kind of weird and non-existent. So all of these are going to go. Only 5 from the powder category. I think I'm going to do foundations for today. And yeah, then we'll finish up this video. All right, here we have all of my foundations. They're not all in the shop, but they're all on this table. So let's get started. I'm just going to start at the top and hopefully not cause a huge avalanche. So, starting here with Believe Beauty in the shade Linen. I'm keeping this. The Believe Beauty ones can be found at Dollar General. Very, very good product. Keeping that. CoverGirl True Blend in L60 is a great shade match for me. And this is a decent foundation. As you can see, I'm about half done with this one. But it's not for me all the time. Like I said, I've been a little bit drier, but I'm excited to pull this back out for summertime. Here I have the Stay Perfect foundation in Calico, number 7. Definitely keeping this. Beautiful foundation. The Cover FX Power Play in P40 is a little dark for me. I usually mix this with P10 or N10 or whichever one I have. And I am keeping this. I do like this foundation. It is newer to me as well. The Algenist Repairing Tint and Radiance. I'm actually getting rid of this one. I don't love this. I'm not a huge tinted moisturizer person. So this is going to go. That dog is going to bark forever because those two are outside. The Lancome Tint Miracle. Keeping this one. It's actually like a glowier foundation. It's really pretty. I wore it recently. My husband picked this one out. So I'm keeping that. The Clinique Even Better Glow. I've not even worn this one yet. Like, come on, get it together. So I definitely want to wear this. I kind of want to mix it with this one. The Clinique Even Better. See, they're definitely not the same shade. So I kind of want to try that as a combo. So I'm keeping those. The Light Illusion in L0 Shell. Keeping that one. The Light Illusion isn't my favorite, but I don't know. It's one that I want to like. I want to like it, and I just am trying. The number 7 Lift and Illuminate. Again, this is in Cool Ivory. This is the other kind. This is actually really nice, and I really love the undertones of the number 7 foundations. They tend to match me really well. So, keeping that. Here we have Estee Lauder 2C3 Fresco. This is definitely like my favorite foundation. I love this. This one's like a hair too dark if I don't blend it down the neck, but really, really pretty foundation. Here we have the Nars, what is this? The Natural Radiant Longwear foundation in like a mini size. That's really cute. It's nice. It works. Keeping that. Here's the P10 I was talking about in the Cover FX that I like to mix with P40. So definitely keeping this to mix together. Let's see. This is one of my newer ones. The Misha Signature BB, what is this called? Signature Wrinkle Fill Up. This I don't have feelings on yet. I've only worn it a time or two. The smell was not good. It smelled like very florally, but it was pretty on the skin the couple times I wore it. So I'm needing to try that one out some more. This guy is definitely going. The Revlon Color Stay in 200. I probably owned like 3 or 4 bottles of this and used them up. So this one's going to go. This is old. Same with this, the Lumi Cushion. A really good shade match, N2, but I use my Misha cushion now. But this one, I just wasn't into cushion foundations at the time. I don't know. I kind of want to try it again. You know what? Maybe I will keep this one and try that again now that I've actually... It's still like full. I never used it because I didn't like the cushion foundation like trend. So I think I might keep that one and actually try it again. Well, I'm going to put this in the maybe pile. I've hemmed and hawed too long about it just sitting here. So I'm going to put this in the maybe pile. We'll come back to it. Here's another Cover FX Power Play in N40. Again, just like the P40, I mix it with the P10 and they both are fine. So keeping that one. Another Flower Beauty Light Illusion. This is in the shade L2. I mix it with L0. So we're keeping that to mix with the other one. You'll find that in a lot of these, I have 2 shades and they don't work without the other. You know what I mean? Like I can mix, I have a white mixer that I can mix in, but I like to keep the formula consistent. So both of these are the Beauty Blender foundations, 1.0 and 2.5. Keeping both of those. Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy. I really like this foundation. I do not enjoy the smell, but it is a pretty foundation. I'm keeping that. The Laura Geller Cover Lock. There's something stuck all over the front of this. I am getting rid of this. This is old and not a good shade match for me. Even at the time, Porcelain was not a good shade match in the Laura Geller. And I even have the shade Light. It just runs very, very warm, very orangey. So I'm getting rid of that. The L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in 420 is a really good shade match for me in that. I'm keeping this. 2 MAC foundations, one in NC10 and one in NC15. NC15 is almost gone. I've used over half of this bottle. And in the summer, it's a really good shade match. I can wear this on its own. As it got cooler out, I noticed it started getting darker on my skin. So I found this at TJ Maxx, the NC10, and I can kind of mix them together. So keeping both of those. I have the Cover FX Natural Finish Foundation in G40. Again, not the right shade, but I mix them together. So here's that. Keeping that. This is the LA Girl Pro Coverage Illuminating Foundation. This is in the shade Fair. This is not a fair colored foundation. This is very, very warm and pretty dark. So I'm definitely getting rid of this one. This one is so old and gross looking. Ugh, not even. The Milani Conceal and Perfect. This is definitely going. I didn't like this when I had it. I couldn't find my shade before, and then they came out with the 00B light, like the light shades. It was a heavy foundation. I never liked that one, so that's going. This is actually what I have on today, the Dr. Jart BB Beauty Balm. It is very light coverage. It's like a tinted moisturizer, but I did put on one of my like powder foundations over the top, just like patted it on with a brush, and it actually still looks pretty nice. So I am actually tickled with this. I'm keeping this. I feel like as it gets warmer out, this is going to be more than enough coverage, that really light moisturizing layer. So keeping that. The Peach Perfect Foundation. Very good. This is in the shade Snow. I actually mixed it the other day with, oh, here it is, with this, and it was a really nice combo. So I'm going to set those in there close to each other. And I even have the Revlon Candid in 120 as well. I'm going to keep both. They both are fine. But the Candid is not a long-wearing foundation, but it does look really nice when you first apply it. That's why I really like it. This is a CYO Long Lasting Life Proof. This is actually my second bottle. I've not even pumped this one yet. So I really like this foundation. A really good shade match. Definitely keeping this one. This is discontinued. They are out of business. I have 2 more Infallible Fresh Wears from L'Oreal. I had 4 shades of this at one point. I finished a 4, I think I had 435, and then I bought 430. I think I went down a shade. Still too warm. And then I think I went to 420, which was the one I have. No, I had to have gone 425. And tried to go on to, so I ended up at 420. These work well enough. Sometimes I have to add a little bit of a lighter powder over the top, but the shades aren't so different, so I'm going to keep them. I will use them. It is a nice foundation. See, they're not that different than the 421, but yeah, so that's how that happened. Okay, let's scooch some things. The Laura Geller Filter First. This is one that's going to go. I think this is one of the foundations that came in those kits when I talked about having extra blushes and highlighters from Laura Geller. And it's just okay. Again, the shade Ivory was still a little dark. The colors of the Laura Geller foundations were just never good for me. So getting rid of that. My Misha BB creams, I have number 23. And I have the one in this really pretty packaging, the Signature Real Complete BB cream. Keeping both of those. Absolutely loving. I've used this probably 5 or 6 times since I bought it a couple weeks ago. And that's saying a lot for me. I really like that one. The L'Oreal True Match Nude. I wore this one yesterday. Really pretty foundation. Really horrible packaging choice. It is awful. The dropper, there's like no stopper to pull the stuff off the outside of the dropper. The dropper works. Like you can get foundation out of that. But to get this in and out, like I have to go so slow to not get it all over the outside. Not great packaging, L'Oreal. Fix this. But it is a really pretty foundation. The Bite Beauty Changemaker foundations, again, 2 that I have to mix. I bought this one first, and I tried to wear it once, and it was absolutely ridiculous looking on me in L35. I found this very, very recently, like days ago, in L10, and I've mixed those together once and worn them. They were okay. I wasn't, you know, overly thrilled with them, but I do want to try to wear those again. So keeping those are new. Same with the e.l.f. I do have to mix these. This one looks like it would match, but on my face, this is really, really light. Mixed in, they're perfect, good coverage. I actually really like these. I know they were really hyped up, so I kind of didn't have high expectations. I feel like when something's that hyped, it's always like, meh, but these are actually really good. I was impressed. And I actually picked these both up at TJ Maxx for like $3.99 each. I think they're $14 maybe. They're very expensive for drugstore foundations in my opinion. I have another Estee Lauder. This is in 3-in-1 Ivory Beige, which the description of the color seemed like it would be perfect for me, but it's a little bit dark. But I don't mind mixing with this. I love the formula of this one, so I'm definitely keeping that. Another Cover FX, and this is in P30. This is a better match than the other one, but again, have to mix it, so keeping that though. And here's the white mixer I keep talking about that I mix with these things, so keeping this for sure. I actually bought these at the same time, and I used to wear them together, but this one, the formula isn't something like absolutely have to have, but I do want to keep the white mixer for sure. I actually use this as kind of a mix-in as well. This is the Algenist Reveal in Blue. I like this for things that are a little too warm. I put a few drops of this in there. And this is probably, if it was standing up, it probably almost at least half gone. So I'm going to try to finish this up. You know, I won't repurchase something like this. Maybe I will, but I don't think I'm going to repurchase something like this, but I will finish this up. Another Stay Perfect foundation. This is in the shade Cool Vanilla. Keeping that one. The light foundation from Pacifica. I've actually worn this a few times. Bought it for $3.99 at TJ Maxx. And yeah, this has been pretty good. I'm not mad about it. Keeping that for sure. I'm actually going to get rid of the CoverGirl Outlast All Day. This was one of my favorites at one point, but I've kind of moved on to this one from CoverGirl, which I'm also keeping this. This is an M15. This is a little bit darker than the L60, but still a really good undertone. I normally can't go for M's. You know, usually that's way too much, but they have a really good shade range in this foundation. So I'm getting rid of the Outlast All Day and keeping the Matte Made. All right, let's close up the gap there. My Misha Cushion Foundation in number 23, absolutely keeping. I love this. And I feel like that really affects my feelings about a foundation. If I can get a shade that matches me, if the undertone matches me, it really affects my feelings about it. Like this can be, I couldn't really tell you about the formula of this because it looks so nice when I put it on. It blends in so seamlessly. I'm like, oh, yep, that's good. So keeping this. So it's nice when you can find a shade match. Same for the Cica Clearing BB Cream. Same kind of thing. Light coverage. Good shade match for me. Keeping that. The Lancome in 240 C10C. I've only worn this like once or twice. I'm going to keep that. It's just pretty fancy. These two Super Stays. I had this for a long time and I've worn it quite a bit. Then I realized that it was looking so dry and so pale. I looked like awful. So I bought this one. And this is Buff Beige. But this is still... Maybelline foundations I have found are very, very warm on me, no matter what. So I've worn this maybe once together, and even then I didn't like the finish, and they've just been sitting in my drawer. So these are going to go. I wanted these to work so badly, and they just didn't. So I'm going to get rid of these. Same for this Color Stay, another old one. That's going to go. This I just bought for my rediscovering my old makeup, and this is, again, an excellent shade match for me, and it actually looked really pretty when I wore it the other day. I've not worn it since, but I'm going to keep that. It's new. I'm just going to lay it out over my basket's full. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation in Alabaster. This is fine. This is probably old, but this always reminded me my grandma smelled like this. Like this foundation. Not like it smells like a grandma. It specifically smelled like my grandma. And I always felt weird wearing it. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of those memories like that. So I never really got into this foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. The same for this Wet n Wild Photo Focus in the regular one. I keep wanting to like this. and I think it breaks me out. And so I never wear it. I think once you have that in your mind that something, you know, affects your skin, even if you're not sure, you're kind of hesitant to put it on again. That's this for me. So I'm going to get rid of this. I've owned like 9 bottles of this because I get rid of it and then buy it and then get rid of it and then buy it. I'm keeping the Dewy one, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this guy. I have 2 more of the Believe Beauty in different shades. I'm going to keep these. They all work for me at different times. I also have, this is Porcelain and Nude. I have the shade Linen in there. They all work at, you know, throughout the year. So I'm keeping those. Nice, nice foundation. I have my CoverGirl Matte Made in L20. I think I'm going to keep this. This is like over half gone. I want to finish this up. I have the 3 shades. Again, always mixing and matching, because you buy it, if you buy it in one season, like I could wear L20 in the winter. And then as it got warmer, you start to, it doesn't match at all, you know, as you get tan and tan and tan. So then you buy another shade, then it's just, I don't self-tan, but I like naturally it changes throughout the year. But I know people who self-tan have, you know, an array of shades and things like that. So I am going to go ahead and keep this one. I don't know if I'll buy any more of the Matte Made. I have repurchased this. I've had all 3 of these, but I've repurchased L60 multiple times and used them up. But I don't know. I haven't used it in a bit. So I think this summer I'll pull them back out. But I don't know that I would repurchase them anymore like that. This is my Misha in number 13. Definitely keeping this. It's just a little lighter than the other one I have. The Peach Perfect in Vanilla. I am going to go ahead and keep this. It is a little orangey. It is like a matte foundation, so it's nice for the summertime. So it's okay if they're a little darker. And this is the number 7 Stay Perfect in Deeply Beige. This is too dark for me, but this is like the perfect undertone. I can wear this. If I pull it all the way down my neck, it doesn't look so weird that it's like, oh, you look orange, you know, like this one does. This is like the perfect undertone for my skin. It just looks like I have a really nice tan. So I'm going to keep this to mix and match with some of my other things because it doesn't turn them too warm. It's a very, I don't even know how to describe the color, a very beigey color. It's really, really nice to mix with things for me. So this is kind of my deeper mixer, while my white one is the lighter mixer. You know what I mean? So I'm keeping that. And this Stay Matte is going to go, I just never got into this. This is a newer bottle. I just never got into this foundation. It's just, it's so thick. I just never got into that. I loved the primer. I went through the primer like crazy, but I never got into the foundation. So that's going to go. And the Lumi Cushion, I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I have a stack of foundations over here, and I don't think I'm going to reach for this over any of those. So that one can go. So let me pull up these foundations here. 14 are going out of the foundation drawer. So that's amazing. Let me put the rest of the things back up here, and we'll take one final look here at what's going. Okay. I think that is it for this declutter of my face and base products. I feel really good about this. All of these are either too dark or too old, not effective. These are not things I'm ever going to reach for over the products that I kept. I'm looking at this and feeling really good that this is all going. So I hope you enjoyed this second part of our declutter series. I think next I'm going to do, I'm not sure, blush, bronzer, highlight, I don't know, maybe even lipsticks. So stay tuned for more. I definitely have more stuff to get rid of. And I think the other one should be posted by the time this one is, of my mascara, eyeliner, brow products, things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to be notified of more decluttering fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye.